Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome to Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. Lenny, once again, great job. I tell you, what a way to start your day. And Lenny sent me a message, and I heard him on the air this morning. What would you think of a show that had a 6-minute intro? Well, I'd probably turn it off. How about that? You don't have to worry about that with Lenny, and you don't have to worry about that with me. So let's get started, and let's talk about the standings and some games and some players. And boy, we've got a full slate today, including a double dip at Yankee Stadium between crosstown rivals Mets and Yankees. But last night, as we look at the National League East this morning, we've got a new first-place team. Yes, we do. Now, who could it be? It could be the Atlanta Braves. And last night, they beat Pittsburgh 13-7 to take over first place in that division. Home runs were flying last night for the Braves. I'm looking here. Camargo doubled, of course. He came in because of an ejection. You know, the umpires, they're quick with their whistle, aren't they? They eject third baseman and the pitcher for Musgrove for Pittsburgh, and Camargo comes in and gets a few hits, you know, while beat goes on. Camargo doubled, Swanson doubled. But here you go, home runs. Freddie Freeman, his 18th. Acuna, his 15th. Albies hit 2, his 9th and 10th. Okay? Markakis hit his 5th. I mean, wow. And I tell you, the problem with the Braves right now, and I told you I think it's their division to win, I've been saying that for days, if not weeks, is that Kevin Gausman, once again, he's just a bomb, man. I mean, you guys out there, give me some feedback, but I've been down on Gausman. I'm still down on Gausman, okay? Here's his line from last night. You ready? 2 1/3. Starting pitcher that goes 2 1/3. Are you kidding me? Do I want that in fantasy? Absolutely not. He gave up 5 hits, 4 runs. 2 of them were earned. He struck out 4. Yeah, he gave up a home run. And his ERA, Kevin Gausman's ERA is Baltimore-ish 6.21 after last night's fiasco start. The Braves do win, but there is good news on the horizon. Dallas Kuechel pitched his first minor league game. We'll call this his spring training for A-Ball Rome yesterday. He pitched 7 innings, did Kuechel. He only surrendered 1 hit. And here's what he had to say after his performance yesterday.
It was nice to get back out there, get some adrenaline pumping from game competition, and just try to execute as many pitches as I could. I mean, Logan did a great job behind the plate, and as a pitcher, a good catcher, a good backstop always makes your job a lot easier. So he did a great job, and was able to go 7. Probably could have gone an inning more, or maybe 9, but up and down 7 times was pretty good, and extended myself there for like 19 pitches, I think, in the last inning. So cut it off, but felt great.
So Keuchel says, hey, I feel great. Probably look for Keuchel to throw 1 more minor league start before he gets called up to Atlanta. And then the question, of course, is where does he go? Who leaves the roster so that Dallas Kuechel can come on to the roster? You know, they got to make an opening. Of course, if it's me, it's got to be Gausman. He would have to be gone, you know. But we'll see what Atlanta does. Kuechel, though, look for him to make 1 more start, and we'll see. Mark Youngblood. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Cha-Cha. Good morning, Easy Kill. And, of course, Phil Chappie. All right. Yeah, I'm on tonight. I'm on this morning. It's Tuesday is Arnie Day here on Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports in a way. I've got you here for an hour. Then tonight at 6. And then my buddy and I, Phil Chappie, we're going to be talking to you at 9 o'clock tonight about what? It's a mystery night, right? But I'm sure you will enjoy it because we always just have a roundtable type discussion. It's totally different than what he or I do on our regular shows. So tune in. But good to see you. Mark Youngblood, do you really think Gausman should be their closer? I don't think Gausman should be on their roster, okay? I just think he's that bad. But anyway, I know you're an Orioles guy, so I guess you have roots are deep, but we'll see. Let's look at the rest of those standings, okay? The Braves and Phillies both now stand at 37 and 29. It's uncanny, their records here. Their run differential, the Braves are at plus 21. The Phillies are at plus 19. The home and away splits, the Braves are winner records at both their home stadium and on the road. The Phillies, 22 and 13 at home, 15 and 16 on the road. So today, the Braves are still at home against Pittsburgh, and the Phillies are home against Arizona. Speaking of that game last night, 13 home runs. 13 home runs in that Phillies game with Arizona. Arizona leads off. Jared Dyson leads off the game. And let's talk about Jared Dyson for just a moment. Jared Dyson leads off the game with a home run. Jared Dyson, he plays against right-handers. Okay, and as we know, the Phillies are loaded with right-handers. And so, playing in the lineup more and more every day. And so I'm looking at the pitching today. He will be back in the lineup in all likelihood today. Jared Dyson, a player that you certainly want to look at if you have a gap in your outfield, have a need in your outfield. I think you may certainly want to grab him. I'm trying to pull up some stats on him real quick for you if I can. But while I'm doing that, Ketel Marte batted second last night, following up Dyson's home run. He then homers. Yeah. And not to be outdone, then David Peralta comes up and he homers. So the first three Diamondbacks leading off the game, back-to-back-to-back blasts off Jared Eichhoff last night. Going back to Dyson, he's hitting 268 on the year, 31 runs scored, 4 homers, 14 RBIs, and listen to this, 14 stolen bases. In his last 3 games, looking at 13 at-bats, he's gone 5 for 13, okay? 386, 1 homer, couple of stolen bases. If you have a need or you're playing daily, Dyson is certainly a player that you want to look at. Let's get back to that game last night. Wow. They hit Arizona a record 8 home runs. Eduardo Escobar, Eldemaro Vargas each slugged 2 in the game, and Alex Avila hit 1 as well. Okay, so they were hitting it. But the Phillies, the final score there was 13 to 8. The Phillies also had 5 home runs. Okay, so Arizona with 8, Philly with 5. Scott Kingery, Lenny's boy. Yeah, Lenny's boy hit 2 of them. He got 3 hits on the night. Kingery had 2 homers and a triple in the game last night. Great add if you have Scott Kingery on your team. And the thing about Kingery in fantasy, he's so multi-positional eligible. Outfield, shortstop, third base. Who knows, by the end of the year, he may qualify even for more than that. But he's playing every day now for the Fightin' Phils. And his average, you ask, well, maybe I should tell you. Kingery is now hitting 324 on the season, 6 homers, 15 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Again, playing every day for the Phillies, and certainly someone that you need to have on your team in fantasy. Now, another homer from Gene Segura, Rhys Hoskins, Jay Bruce. And Hoskins' shot is the shot that tied the record, and Bruce's shot is the home run that set the record with 13 home runs in 1 game last night. What a box score. Hoskins 3 for 4. He's now up to 271 on the season. Kingery, as I said, 3 for 5. Bruce 1 for 5. He's hitting 230. He's been a godsend for the Phillies. And Nick Williams pinch hit last night with a double. Keep that in mind. Maybe Nick Williams starts to see some time. The Diamondbacks, the box scores 14 hits, 40 at bats. Wow. Vargas 2 for 5. He played second base. As I said, Escobar 4 for 5, 5 RBIs, 3 runs scored. He doubled. He homered twice. What a night for Eduardo Escobar. Great fantasy asset, a third baseman, shortstop. David Peralta, who Lenny mentioned earlier, maybe on the trade block, a homer. He's hitting 300 on the season. And Ketel Marte, who's a player that I just really like. He plays all over the field, but most of all, he hits. Okay? Ketel Marte really having a breakout year for the Diamondbacks this year. And he's shortstop, second base, outfield eligible. He's now hitting .274 on the season after last night's 3-for-5 performance. Ketel Marte has 16 home runs, 46 RBIs, and 41 runs scored. Woo! So a great ad in fantasy if you have him. Sometimes I talk about trading players. I don't trade Ketel Marte. I just see even more upside there going forward. I think he'll sustain these numbers in the year of the home run. He's got his launch angle up. I really like Marte. So he's a player that I am not trading. I tell you, I am keeping him. But a player that I would be trading. Do you remember a long time ago in April, Jared Eichhoff started off the season really good? Well, he hadn't been lately. Okay? As much as I'm down on Gossman, I'm even more down on Jared Eichhoff. Okay? He's 3-4 now. Took the loss Monday. 7 runs on 5 hits in 3 innings. He walked 2. Only struck out 2. Wow. He has a 5.02 ERA now on the season. He gives up 2.5 home runs per 9, and he's starting Sunday in Atlanta. You talk about 2-start pitchers that you want to have. I'm going to tell you a 2-star pitcher that you want to give away, and that's Jared Eichhoff. And I look back at his last few starts. On May 14th at home against Milwaukee, 4 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. On the 19th of May against Colorado, 5 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. On the 24th of May at Milwaukee, 3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. On the 30th of May, home against St. Louis, 6 1/3, 4 earned runs. It just goes on and on. Do you understand? Eichhoff, a bum, really, right now, pitching. Maybe he'll straighten it out. But in fantasy, not somebody that I want on my team going forward. Okay, the rest of that division. As I told you, the Mets and Yankees were rained out last night. Doubleheader today in the Bronx. The Mets are 4.5 games behind both the Phillies and the Braves. And here are the Nationals. Yep, they won again yesterday. I'm telling you, look out for the Nats. They're my surprise team. 6 games behind. And they're winners of 3 in a row. They beat the White Sox yesterday 12-1. Trey Turner, another big day at the plate. Howie Kendrick, Lenny was talking about him possibly making the All-Star team earlier. Another big day at the plate. They're pitching, they're hitting, they're having fun in Washington. And I just think the Nats, again, don't pass judgment on them till we get to July 4, and let's see where they are then, okay? Because there's been talks of trades. Rendon, who didn't play, will he be traded? You're not going to trade Rendon if they're in the race. Come on. So let's keep our eye on that one. And the Marlins are 13 games out. They lost to St. Louis yesterday 4-1. And now we go back to one of my favorite divisions in baseball, which isn't the American League East. It's the National League Central, right? And yesterday, Milwaukee, they were off. Okay, they play in Houston today, right? They play in Houston today. Big series between the Brewers and the Astros. The Cubs remain in Colorado. Last night, the Rockies came back from behind to beat the Cubs in Colorado 6-5. The Cubs, though, they had a big night. They had 3 home runs in the 3rd inning alone.
David Bodie is hit pretty well out into right center. That ball is gone. The Cubs lead 1-0. Welcome home, David Bodie. Schwarber out of the deep left. Back-to-back home runs. Schwarber has seen 3 pitches tonight. He swung at all of them. We talked about his recent run and how aggressive he has been. Center and it's deep. Now back at the wall. Home run. 3 of them here in the 3rd. 4-0.
So the Cubs were staked to a 4-0 lead. They couldn't hold the lead. Don't you know they're ready for Craig Kimbrell to come into Chicago and make his presence felt. But I want to take a moment and talk about 2 Cubs hitters for fantasy in light of that game and of some other games here of late that I think are worthy of an ad in your leagues, and here they are. First of all, I'm really loving